Guess what? We're shitty people, Joel. It's been that way for a long time.
No, we are survivors.
This is our chance.
It is over, Tess!
She's infected.
Imagine, if you will, that we live in a cold, desolate world. That everything we knew was taken away, and everything we loved was gone. Cordyceps. What would you say if I told you that this fungus that ended everything was real? And what if I told you that this fungus was able to control and manipulate the brain? There are hundreds of species of cordyceps that exist on this planet. Some species of cordyceps are capable of actually manipulating the brains of several insects and ants. And while there are no known species of cordyceps that affects the human mind like it does an ant, what if we just haven't actually found that species yet? This is the story of The Last of Us.
Kept complaining about your broken watch. So I figured,
Where did you get the money for this?
drugs. I sell hardcore drugs.
Oh, good. You started helping out with the mortgage then.
Yeah, you wish.
It is said in a time of crisis that people will either come together in our greatest time of need or turn against each other to preserve what little power they have left.
We're not sick.
Got a couple of civilians in the outer perimeter. Please advise.
Eddie, what about Uncle Tommy?
We're gonna get you to safety and go back for him, okay?
The Last of Us
There's a little
takes a
girl.
look at the ladder.
But... Yes, sir.
Listen, buddy, we've just been through hell. Okay, we just need... Oh, shit.
The game takes little time in establishing itself as being a powerhouse of a narrative.
Jimmy, stay back! Jimmy, I am warning you! Don't!
You shot him.
Sarah,
I saw him this morning.
listen to me. There is something bad going on, and we have got to get out of here. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Tell me, come on.
Right from the beginning, you're going to love Joel, and you're going to want to root for him to succeed. Joel is a single father trying to take care of his daughter, basically when the entire world goes to hell. And within 10 minutes, you are going to care about who Joel is.
You okay, baby? Stay with me. I'll pick you up.
The Last of Us pulls no punches when it comes to its narrative. It asks hard questions, and it looks at humanity under the lens of a microscope. Now, post-apocalyptic fiction is not anything new. There is a ton of it out there, and the question only becomes, how well is the narrative told? And that is one thing that The Last of Us could definitely say, is that it tells its narrative extremely well.
This is bad. Everyone and their mother had the same damn idea.
While the beginning of the game does set everything up pretty nicely, it is not really where the narrative falls. No, the narrative in itself really takes place about 20 years later. Joel hasn't really become a mercenary per se, but if the price is right, he will do certain things. Him and his partner Tess.
How was your morning? Well, I have some interesting news for you.
Where were you, Tess?
West End District. Hey, we had a drop to make.
We had a drop to make.
Well, you wanted to be left alone, remember?
Really, I'm not gonna go blow for blow with the story, but the entire game really starts off with Joel and Tess trying to get their weapons back.
Who has our guns?
It's the Fireflies. Oh, the Fireflies.
And what Joel and Tess get wrapped up in is in an epic tale of trying to save humanity.
Well, now what?
We go get our merchandise back.
Ellie. Ellie is a young girl, about 14 or 15 years old, and Joel and Tess are hired to smuggle her out of Boston.
We're smuggling her?
There's a crew of Fireflies that'll meet you at the Capitol building.
And why? Because she's the cure that has stolen society from humanity.
Look,
Jesus Christ.
Basically, cordyceps, a fungus, have affected humans in a way that has turned them into rage monsters. Once infected, all the host wants to do is kill, maim, and destroy its target. The longer the infection lasts, the more deformed the host becomes.
What's wrong with his face? The years of infection will do to you.
Ellie had been bitten 3 weeks earlier. Most people who have been bitten turn within a couple of days. Ellie, on the other hand, is not turning at all.
no, everyone turns within 2 days, so you stop bullshitting.
It's 3 weeks. I swear. Why would she set you up?
Somehow she is immune, and because of that, she is now the cure to save the human race. Joel doesn't really want to do this. Tess is not very big on the idea either, but as time goes on, she becomes more and more acceptable of the idea that they take Ellie across country to get her to the Fireflies and develop a cure that could save all of humanity. To Tess, this becomes something important.
Got to get this girl to Tommy's. He used to run with this crew. He'll know where to go.
No, that was your crusade. I am not doing that.
Yes, you are. Look, there's enough here that you have to feel some sort of obligation to me, so you get her to Tommy's.
But then Tess is bitten, and she is going to turn.
Oh, Christ.
Joel doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to do it alone. He doesn't want to take Ellie across the country to save humanity. He just wants to live life as best he can in a time that doesn't really want him to live at all. In a way, Joel is a very complicated character. Having lost his daughter 20 years earlier, Ellie, in a lot of ways, reminds Joel of how he failed as a father, or at least that's how he sees it. How could he protect this girl, someone he doesn't even know, when he wasn't even able to keep his own daughter alive? In a lot of ways, I believe Joel resents Ellie for that.
And you just hang back like I told you to.
Well, you're glad I didn't, right?
I'm glad I didn't get my head blown off by a goddamn kid.
Always keeping Ellie at a distance. There is a clear disconnect.
You know what? No. How about, hey, Ellie, I know it wasn't easy, but it was either him or me. Thanks for saving my ass. You got anything like that for me, Joel?
Ellie tries so hard to win his approval, only for Joel to snap back. It's a really powerful story about a young woman trying to find acceptance from someone who in some respects can't even accept himself.
What are you doing?
Killing time.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
I am sure you will figure that out.
And losing Tess is even more evidence in Joel's mind that he is not capable of protecting Ellie.
Know you're in there. Drop your weapons and come out with your hands up.
The game has an amazing journey with these two characters, with Ellie trying to gain Joel's acceptance, and with Joel trying to understand Ellie, and in a lot of ways accepting the fact that he is capable of protecting her. It is interesting to watch Joel as he struggles with his fears of being unable to protect Ellie. The loss of his daughter haunts him every single day, and maybe the reason why he's so fearful of getting close to Ellie is that he fears that he would be replacing the memory of his daughter. With Ellie always trying to win his approval, it is probably because she is constantly looking for family and for someone to care for her. Always abandoned, always alone.
Fine. Just wait around for you two to get me killed.
And Joel, just maybe, could be that person that could change all of that for her. The Last of Us' story is less about the outbreak and more about how people need each other to save humanity. And when Joel finally understands this, he is fully capable of accepting Ellie for who she is.
It's a little more your size. It's for emergencies only.
In a lot of ways, he even sees her as his daughter.
It's me.
He tried to...
Oh, baby girl. It's okay.
Family first, as they say. And sometimes even that can lead to good or bad decisions. That is up to the player.
Let me go. Please.
You just come after her.
While The Last of Us has an amazing narrative, the reality is that the game would not be seen as a masterpiece if the narrative was any less than what it was. But thankfully, the gameplay does hold up. The gameplay is both action-packed and stealth-like whenever need be. There are times where the direct approach is probably the right approach. But there are plenty of times where being stealthy is probably your best action. Joel can mix with both brute and stealth-like action. If you're up against a clicker, you probably want to be stealthy. If you're up against a human character, it's certainly better to be stealthy, but if you need to throw some punches, you certainly can. But about a third of the way through the game, after Joel is injured,
Joel!
you then play as Ellie. Now obviously, Ellie does not excel in brute strength. Her approach is best when you're being tactically stealthy. But if you are caught, she is capable of throwing on a brutal attack when she needs to. Where with Joel, using guns and fists are your best bet, Ellie works really well with rifles and the bow and arrow. Now whether you're playing as Joel or Ellie, you'll get the opportunity to craft items, which includes healing items, Molotovs, or even junk grenades. And you'll also be able to upgrade your weapons throughout the game. The game does a really good job of balancing out its action-packed moments from its stealthy moments, even its quiet moments. It's funny moments.
Oh. Why are these all stuck together? I'm just fucking with you. Bye-bye, dude!
One of my favorite things about the game is that as you're playing, your characters will just talk. There'll be moments where Ellie will tell you jokes as you're going along.
We need to lighten the mood. Ready? It doesn't matter how much you push the envelope, it'll still be stationary.
What is that?
It's a joke book. No pun intended. Volume 2 by Will Livingston.
Let's keep going.
And you can even get in a good game of darts. It's these moments that not only help with the narrative, but really make the gameplay feel really authentic. And when the game needs to be tense and it really wants to make you feel really nervous, those moments are there too. From escape scenarios to big hulking monsters coming right after you. This game has it all. With a really strong narrative and very good gameplay, there isn't really that much bad to say about this game at all.
Hey, wait. Back in Boston, back when I was bitten, I wasn't alone. My best friend was there, and she got bit too. We didn't know what to do.
Graphically, the game is amazing. This game pushed the PS3 to its absolute limits. The game is led by voice actors Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, and they give an absolutely amazing performance.
Do you even realize what your life means? Huh? Running off like that, putting yourself at risk? It's pretty goddamn stupid.
Well, I guess we're both disappointed with each other then.
From dilapidated cities, to abandoned subway stations, to destroyed college campuses, to even the serene, snow-filled forest, this game is visually stunning. The character models are well rendered, so at some points it's even hard to tell that you're looking at a CGI character. And it's all held down once again with very strong voice acting performances.
Blueberries. Found a whole stash of them. You want some?
No.
Hey man, relax. We're safe.
All in all, The Last of Us is an amazing game. It explores what happens when humanity is left in the wake of a disaster, and how important it is to rely on the people who have your back. Joel and Ellie are two characters that you want to follow the journey of. You want to see how each grows as a person, and how each one of them can be a family to the other. Do I recommend this game? Absolutely. Should you buy it on the PlayStation 3 or the PlayStation 4? That would be completely dependent on which system you own or how much you want to pay. But no matter how you play this game, The Last of Us, is a masterpiece. This is the Metal Geek saying, have a great one.